great show lined up. We want to thank our sponsors, brokersrealty.com. If you want to buy, sell, rent, or auction off your property, check them out, brokersrealty.com. And Sarah Smith Katz over there, our co-host, is one of their realtors. She's super busy, but she still has time for you. So if you need to do anything in the Poconos, check her out.
Absolutely.
Hi, Sarah. How you doing?
Good. Very, very busy. You hit the nail on the head. So if anyone is interested, especially in selling their home, right now is the time because there are so many buyers out there and just not enough inventory. So give me a call if you're interested in, getting a comparative market analysis or whatever it might be. Just give me a call. Hi, Aaliyah.
Hi, Sarah. I'm going to go completely off topic at this very moment, man. I forgot to tell you this before we went on the show, but I keep thinking about that chili you made for Halloween. Sarah made the most delicious chili
Well, thank you so much.
I have had in a very long time. And truth be told, I have not had it in a while, but you did a great job and I really liked it. And I was thinking about that the other day. I was like, gee, I wish I would have stolen a little bit and brought it home.
There was nothing left.
There was nothing left, Sarah. I was a witness to it. Sarah makes great chili, folks.
It was scraped out, gone.
So with that being said, we didn't expect that to be so popular, or maybe we did, or maybe we need more. So it kind of ties into what we're going to be talking about tonight, which is one of my favorite subjects.
Well,
I've been Thanksgiving prepping.
I did tell your mom that I was going to make a batch this week and I'll bring her some. So I'll bring you some as well.
You are so nice. I love that. Less beans. You know what I'm saying? Less.
Oh,
beans.
yeah. Well, you know what? I will dip out some before I add, so you don't have to worry about that, the beans.
Prepping for a party, sometimes you don't know. Sometimes what is popular or how many people are going to be eating it. And then if people love it, they go back for seconds and thirds. So we're going to be talking about getting ready for this most spectacular holiday. And my sister and Holly and I were talking about this the other day, that we really like it because even though we work hard for it, I know I do because I do a lot of cooking and prepping and baking and things like that. I like it because I don't have to do the additional thing. And not that I don't love to give gifts, because I do, but then it gets really hairy in December for Hanukkah and Christmas. And I just want the overall feeling of this show tonight. We were talking about this before we came on, that no matter what's going on with that thing we won't talk about, the other thing we're not going to talk about tonight, we all know what they are, that, being thankful and being with your family never changes. There's nobody that will be able to ever take that away. No illness, no nothing that will drive us apart. Even if you have to have a Zoom Thanksgiving, and it has to be a little bit different this year because maybe you have an elderly relative or somebody that can't fly due to all this mess, you make do with what you have and you make it the best. So have some virtual pumpkin pie. Do not ever lose hope of or being thankful and that you're eventually going to see your family, because it will happen. Things will simmer down. But in the meantime, we're going to talk about being thankful, what that means, maybe some holiday favorites that we've had in the past. We're going to talk about that jellied cranberry sauce, how to get your kitchen ready. Now, if you are the point person for Thanksgiving, okay, like in our family, for instance, Dad and Mom take care of the big things like the turkey and the stuffing, and then everybody else brings sides. If you're not a cooker or a baker, you bring the soda, the drinks for the kids, the rolls, the napkins, whatever the case may be. So in my case, where I do a lot of stuff for the Thanksgiving and Christmas holidays, I have to get organized. So let us know in the comments and in the audience, and shout out to everybody that's watching tonight. We hope that you're thankful tonight. We're thankful for you. And we want to know, what kind of Thanksgiving prep do you do? Because maybe I'm missing something. I don't know, Sarah. I like to kind of start where the action happens. I mean, I'm going to back up a little bit. I like to kind of get things at this time of the year. I'm switching the clothes. This has nothing to do with the cooking. You're switching the clothes. You're maybe donating. If you have a child, maybe you're going through their room and donating. You're kind of clearing the decks. I like to say we're setting the tone. We're clearing the decks. Hopefully your yard work is done. Your leaves are taken out, all that. And now inside the house, now we're talking about the kitchen where most of the action happens. Now, If you are going to have company, people coming, you're going to have to think about other things like prepping the bathroom, making sure you have enough TP and smelly good soaps and hand sanitizers and all that kind of stuff. But what we're going to focus on mostly tonight is the kitchen, what you do tonight to get that ready, or in the next couple weeks, what you do to get that ready, your shopping list, your wish list for what you want to make. And so, Sarah, tell us, what you like to make for Thanksgiving, or what is your favorite dish from Thanksgiving?
Well, I mean, of course, pie is my very favorite thing
Mm.
from the holidays. Good pumpkin pie. And actually, I went to the store today and I bought the ingredients for two pumpkin pies because I usually make it this time of year anyway.
Right.
You
It
know,
doesn't have to be
right.
exclusively for that day. I mean, I'm like in that mode, you're
I
like in
will
that mode.
I will tell everyone I for two pumpkin pies, basically it costs $17 for the pumpkin, the milks, and all of that stuff.
Hmm.
So, this year you might have to budget a little bit because I think the
The
costs
price has been up.
have
Yes.
gone up. You have to figure out if you like the jellied cranberry or if you like the whole berry cranberry sauce. I like jellied cranberry.
You
Jelly,
just ruined my rapid fire this or that.
jelly.
Sorry.
Because
That's
there is
okay. Jelly
no
versus. So
other
let us know in the
option.
audience, whoever's watching tonight, let us know. Are you jelly? Or are you whole cranberry sauce? I'm either or. I think I like the idea of the jelly because it's more entertaining.
Mhm.
There's something about that thing that when it comes out of the jar and it's jiggly and it's that beautiful color red and you lay it down, and if you are so careful with the around the outside, and then you lay it on that, and everybody, and I know that Sarah does, Holly does, I do, my mom does, like everybody's got that dish. It's
Right.
like you got that one dish that you pull out, and then you turn that upside down and you let it slide and it goes sideways, and then you can slice it ever so nicely. I mean, that is like,
Mhm.
that's like, and sadly we lost Alex Trebek, and I was talking about that this week about how we want those traditions, right?
Mhm.
We were talking about how we had him, like if you came to this house that I live in now, which was Nana's house, if you came here 7:30, you were watching Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy.
Mhm.
So we want more than anything this Thanksgiving, this Christmas, this holiday season to have those jellied cranberry experiences, right? What else do you think should go on that table, Sarah? Like, what are the things that you
I
think
mean,
are staple?
I love stuffing, all kinds of stuffing. But again, that's probably a rapid fire question of whether you use the crushed up breadcrumbs or do you like the cubes? I like the
That's
cubes.
true. Or do you buy it in the box, like a box
Mhm.
stuffing, or like I guess they still
I
have
make
it.
my
It's
own.
you either make your own with a dry, you get the bread and you let it sit out, or you toast it a little bit, or they have the bag. You
Mhm.
could buy the
But
Pepperidge Farm.
in our family, there is one brother-in-law who gets very disappointed if you don't make him a box of stovetop.
Oh, I don't know which one that is.
It's Clint.
Clint,
Oh,
It's Clint. He wants a box.
you know what? My husband likes that too, and there's something about the smell of that. I mean,
If they
you
have
can
the right
recreate it. There's
combination of
something
herbs.
about it. Yeah, there's something about it. I think also a really cool thing to do, and I don't know if people still do this, we definitely do, is a relish dish. So
Mhm.
that consists of, the olives that you can put your fingers on, because you got to do that even when you're 45 years old, because we're all very immature. You got to do that. What do you call pickles,
Gherkins.
Celery,
gherkins,
carrot.
celery, maybe some dip, a little bit of ranch dip in there, a little vegetables, you got to slide in something healthy, I guess.
Bread. I mean, good bread, definitely. You have to have
Good
great
bread.
bread.
Yeah, good bread. Dad does, we have a lot of celiac disease people in our family. So, gluten free. My dad is gluten free. So, we have to do kind of, so we can have both. You kind of
Right.
have the gluten free stuffing. And I like the way he makes it. And I'm going to, I don't know if he did it last year and I was very disappointed, but maybe he did. I have to ask him. He puts it in a bundt pan.
Mm-hmm.
And you could do this with
Oh, it
any stuffing.
makes it have
Crusty.
more crusty surface.
Right.
Mhm.
So if you like a little bit of crunch as opposed to a wet stuffing, like I don't know, like where do we stand between like a wet stuffing versus more of a dry stuffing? I
Yeah.
don't know.
And
No
I
stuffing in the animal. I don't want
No stuffing in
stuffing
the animal. What do
in
you
the
think,
animal.
Sarah?
I
What do you
stuff
prefer?
I stuff the animal.
You get up in there. Don't forget to take the stuff out. Don't forget to
The
take.
thing about me is
no.
I really don't like turkey that much. I'm a really weird person. Turkey
No, I
is
don't
not-
either.
it
Yeah,
is
I like
not-
the sides.
I have to
Yeah,
say that
I could have a whole plate of sides and skip the
Yeah. Do
turkey.
you like turkey, Sarah?
I like turkey, but I make a very moist turkey. So,
Yeah.
part of the issue.
Oh,
A
I
lot-
make a fabulous turkey.
Yeah.
I make a really good turkey. I just don't eat it.
but I think a lot of people don't think about actually like buttering the skin of the turkey and, doing all of that,
You're making me
prep
hot.
work.
Woo!
My husband brines turkeys. So if he makes a turkey here, and we make turkey like every once in a while just to make a
Mhm.
turkey, he makes stuff out of it,
Mhm.
turkey sandwiches. He brines it overnight. So
I make turkey meatballs and things like that.
Oh, I love ground turkey. I mean,
Mhm.
I'll have it if I make it like the turkey. Like I do a very I do put an orange, a lemon, I do whole cloves, I make an herbed butter and rub the whole
Mhm.
turkey.
Oh.
So I mean I make a very good turkey.
yeah,
But
she does the whole Julia Child
I
rub the
have
bird
to
thing.
make I rub my bird.
She rubs her bird.
Who out there rubs their bird? I want to know
I
how do you like
I
your
rub my bird.
turkey?
And I usually, even though I come to your mom's for Thanksgiving, I always make at least 2 turkey breasts here, with stuffing, so that I have leftover. I have.
Right, turkey sandwich, turkey cranberry sandwiches. That's so good. Like we've been doing that for
Yep.
years, where you take the slice of turkey and with the good bread, and then you put the cranberry and a little mayonnaise, and you kind of make a sandwich. Oh my gosh, and stuffing.
Yep.
It's so good. I mean, those are things. I mean, turkey stuffing, and then if people don't like, let's just say people don't like turkey. There's our alternatives. You could have a roast chicken.
Well,
could-
I love our Christmas alternative of prime rib. Like that's my holiday meal. I like ham too. Like I
Yeah.
think
I
you can
think
toss it up.
I bring the ham and your dad does the prime rib.
Yeah.
So I think,
And I usually do a roast chicken or chicken part,
Mm-hmm.
something like a lemon chicken, because I don't eat the prime, some people don't like the prime rib, some people don't eat pork. So you kind of have like all the different animal groups represented. I mean, you have to go according to your audience. Like in our case, like I said, we have a lot of gluten-free and celiac disease people. So we have to
Well, and you probably don't
accommodate.
eat the stuffing because your dad puts sausage in it, or at least the last time I think he put sausage in it.
Yeah, I don't eat pork. So I
Mhm.
don't eat pork. So yeah, I mean, you have to kind of know your audience. I mean, we've been around each other for so long that we kind of know what everybody likes and what everything. And then, you
Mhm.
know what people are allergic to, or they don't like a lot of onions and things and different things like that. So, I mean, it's not always the case. Like if you're taking things, let's
Right.
say in most years, people taking, their covered dish or whatever, you might not know your audience as much. But with us, it's kind of like that familial,
Mhm.
Yeah,
everybody kind of knows their role, their role, or to bring the roles. That is the question. What is it that they're doing? I primarily do the desserts. A couple years ago, I've been doing this for like 10 years, where primarily, because I've been here for 10 years or back here for 10 years, is that I primarily do the baking. And there were many years where I was doing pies and cookies and stuff. So I just made a decision, because to me, even though we're not talking about Christmas yet, that's a cookie holiday. So now I do the big tier cookies, all different kinds, all the different kinds of cookies. And then I stick to pies for Thanksgiving. And I
Mhm.
think that that's a good rule of thumb too. It's like, pick a thing. You know what
Right.
I mean? Like, because number one, like about the whole prepping thing, is like, I can give you all the steps in the world, but you can't get overwhelmed. You don't want to get overwhelmed.
So let's
Right.
talk about prepping. Let's talk about prepping, because we have a little bit over 2 weeks until the first holiday of Thanksgiving, and you have food prepping to do, house cleaning to do. Maybe if you're the hostess, you have shopping to do for supplies. You have all that stuff to do. So you have to get yourself
I mean, the first thing that I would
through
do
the 2 weeks.
is like I said, if all those other projects are done, sort of like, doing all those little house projects are done, you don't want to overwhelm yourself. In this house, we try to get all the big things. We don't schedule big projects or big things during these next couple of weeks, because it just gets to be too much. And we have a little person, and ourselves, we want to enjoy it.
Mhm.
I don't want to be so, because we have school and my husband works, and obviously I'm homeschooling my son. So I only have so many hours in a day, and I work. So, but these are things that I've been doing even before I had the son and the husband at home, when I had all more time in the world, that I've kind of kept a steady, what do you call it? A steady sort of method as to how I do things.
Right.
So if you're the primary cooker or the primary baker, or people are coming to your house, start with your kitchen, because you want to make sure your oven is clean. Hello, something to say, mug in the corner down there. I don't have mine tonight. I forgot to bring it upstairs, but check out our mugs, anybody, and everybody that's commenting tonight or participating tonight. One lucky winner is going to win a mug, and they're so cool. So I would say start with your kitchen, and if you have not cleaned out your oven since last year at Christmas, then now is the time to do it. If you haven't done it, if you do not have, I do not have a self-cleaning oven. Well, I should say that it claims to be, but it's broken. So I have to do it the old-fashioned way. You know, the old-fashioned way of cleaning out the oven. Some ovens that are new and newfangled, they have those self-cleaning. Go ahead and do that. Then the second thing you want to do is you're simultaneously finding out what you want to cook and bake, what you're responsible for, right? You're doling out those responsibilities. So if you're doing the turkey and the stuffing and the pies and everybody else is bringing the sides, you need cooking implements, you need serving implements, you need platters, maybe you need a food processor, maybe you need baking things like Sarah was talking about pies. You can't make pies unless you have pie tins or pie plates. Now, if you're not a person like myself or like Sarah, who's been making pies for centuries and centuries, you know,
decades. You're like the Dracula of pie makers.
You know, we're like the Methuselahs of pies. You know, you inherit the pie. You know, you inherit the pie pans or the pie tins or whatever. So let's say you don't have that. Disposables are okay. I mean, they're not my favorite, but in this situation, maybe that's the best thing. Maybe disposables are a better alternative. But in any case, you have to make that list. Right? You have to figure that out. You have to add that to your grocery list.
And, you know, not everyone is comfortable with making pie crust because it is, you know, it does take a certain knowledge of it. So if you've never made a pie crust before, don't try and make it for the first time for one of the holidays.
Right. And that would be part of your prep because now now at this point, because all your big time organization and your leaves are all picked up. So now you're looking at your magazines, okay? And you see that pie, very conveniently, there's a pie there. So you're saying, you know what? I'm going to take I've never made a homemade pumpkin pie. I've never made a homemade Holly loves cherry pie. I've never made a homemade apple pie, but I want to do it. Do it now.
Right.
Practice now. If you have your heart set on doing a from scratch pie. And like Sarah said before when we were talking about the show prep, she said that there is nothing wrong with doing a Pillsbury crust, and I absolutely agree. You can do a basic pie like this and really make it look like it's a professional pie, make it look like it's really good, and make it taste good too. So, and that's all found. You can find that on the World Wide Web. How to use a Pillsbury dough crust, how to decorate a pie to make it look like it was brought at a restaurant. There's so many things that you can, you know, and maybe before Thanksgiving we'll do one. I'll be back in the kitchen and I'll show you how you can take a Pillsbury pie crust and make that pie look like a professional did it. So those are the things during the prep. You want to clean your oven. You want to clear the decks, as I like to call it, at Keep It Simple Sweet, my little show that I used to do where I would be doing a lot of prepping. Your magazines, get your recipes together. I like to put things in binders, and then that way you always have it. You always have it. This is a Christmas cookie one. Protectors. These are great because you can take these out. If you have that pie and pie crust recipe in there, I like the page protector for a couple of things. One, it keeps it organized. And also, if you take this in the kitchen with you and tape it to the cabinet or wherever you have it, you can wipe it down if it gets wet. You put it right back in your binder and you're done. And then that way, if you create for yourself or your family a space where these different things throughout the year or ideas, you get these magazines or you see it on the Food Network or you see it on the interwebs that you can get inspired, and then you kind of have it in a spot. And then that way you're not like, oh my God, where did I see that? What do I need? I'm making my list. So we're cleaning our oven, we're clearing the decks, we're getting our appliances ready. We're making sure we have enough pie plates, pie pans, sheet pans, roasting pan. I never had a roasting pan before last year, but my husband, we had gotten a free turkey and I was like, you know what? I guess I have to go get one. So I went and got one. Is it an all-clad top of the line? No, it's not. It's something in the middle of the road because I don't roast a turkey that often. So you don't have to, you know, check and I didn't bring it up with me, the Bed Bath & Beyond or wherever the stores are. Look at the sales. Like if I said to Sarah, oh my gosh, I only have so many pie pans. Can I borrow from you? You know, borrow your neighbor. If your neighbor's going to see Aunt Sally and she's not going to be home, hey, do you mind? Do you have some metal or, you know, glass pie dishes I could borrow from you? And then I'll wash them and send them back to you when you come home. And I bet 9 times out of 10 that neighbor won't care. So
how many
you
pie
don't have
plates?
to
By
break
the way, need them, let me know.
I will. But you don't have to break the budget if you're only doing it once, because there's some people that this is the only time that they bake. This is the only time they do a big dinner. And I don't want to see, and what I hate to see is you're running to Bed Bath & Beyond or Target. I'm not saying that you shouldn't stimulate the economy, but some of us don't live in a place where you have storage. You have to think about your storage situation too.
Most of the grocery stores have decent quality glass pie plates, roaster pans. If you don't want to invest in a roaster pan, get a tin roaster pan. You can throw it away.
I disagree with you on that one. That is the one thing
If
that
you're
I
gonna travel with the
this
food-
is a professional baking thing. Never, ever, 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 ever cook a turkey in a aluminum foil pan, because I'm going to tell you something. Most of the time, it is not strong enough.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Most of the time, it
That's-
is not
yeah.
strong enough, and you could really, unfortunately, drop it. But the drippings are so hot, it could just be too much.
If
So
you're
I
gonna-
always recommend. I think the one that I got at ShopRite was like on sale for $20.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
again,
if you're gonna
borrow.
do it though, you got to put it on a big cookie sheet
Mhm.
and then use the cookie sheet to haul it around. Because
Right.
like, if
Yeah.
that's your only option and that's what your budget is, you have to go
Right.
to the dollar store and pick up a roasting pan. Just put it on a big cookie.
If you
sheet
have to, yeah, exactly. If you
and
have to
haul
do
it
that,
around that
put
way.
on a cookie sheet, because it is very, very dangerous.
Mhm.
God forbid you drop that. That is very hot, and it could burn. It could really burn you. I mean, that is the one thing I'll never forget. There was like a picture of Rachel Ray in a cooking magazine once, and she's in her cute apron and she's taking out the turkey like in a tin pan. And her mom says, "I love the picture, but there's no way you should ever show people to cook a turkey like that. That's that heavy in a tin, because that's dangerous." So I always remember that.
Well,
Yeah.
So you wanna-
and the other thing is, if you're going to the dollar store, because they are cheap, you can buy 2 or 3 and just,
Yeah.
stack, because then it gives it extra.
It gives it extra. And they have pie plates, pans too. And also don't forget on that prep list, and this is like really important. These are the things that people forget. When
Mhm.
you're making your grocery list, like you've gone through your cupboards,
Mhm.
you've gone through your pantry, you've gone through your baking supplies, throw away the old nuts. If you have nuts in there from last Thanksgiving, this is a big thing with me. Throw out those nuts, because nuts go rancid.
Mhm.
So, throw out those baking supplies, go through those.
Nuts
Is your
and-
baking
and
powder
oil.
fresh? Is your baking soda fresh? Is your sugar good? Is your flour good?
Mhm.
Is your flour rancid? I've noticed a lot in the last couple of years that flour is turning faster
Well,
than
and
it has
also little
ever
bug-
turned before. Right.
know,
It turns. Yeah.
They get buggy, so you
Yeah.
have to really look at it. What I
And I'll
put-
show you guys when we are in the kitchen again before Thanksgiving, when I show you what you could do with a pie crust, a store-bought pie crust. I'll show you guys how I store I'll show you how I store mine. But what were you going to say, Sarah? Go ahead.
here are the items that I put on my shopping list for, every holiday. I want a bag of fresh onions, carrots, celery, whatever stuffing mix you prefer, whether it's cubed or the,
Stovey top.
well, yeah, whatever that might be. I mean, I make my own. I like to have fresh spices.
Yeah. That's
for
another
the-
thing too. Yeah. With your nuts, go through your
paprika, fresh, you make sure that your items are fresh, because it does change over the year. If
Yeah,
you,
you're absolutely right.
It's really important to have fresh nuts.
It
Yep.
is very important to have fresh nuts. If you're making that there pecan,
Yep. Fresh nuts.
pie, however you want to say it.
And
Yeah.
I make scones, so I make, I get fresh Crisco, because that's part of what you put in scones, Crisco and unsalted butter.
Mm.
So, if you think that you can substitute salted butter for unsalted butter, it doesn't work.
I
Make sure-
disagree, but that's okay.
Yeah, I
I
actually used
fervently
salt-
disagree.
I made an apple crisp this past weekend and I didn't have any unsalted butter. I just didn't add the salt. I used salted butter.
Right.
Yeah, you just
I
adjust,
didn't
you
add
just
salt.
adjust your
Yeah,
salt. But
do
some
that.
people don't know that. Some people don't know that. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, and
the
then
things we don't think about, Sarah, because you get your baking ingredients and your cooking ingredients, right? But what about what happens when you need aluminum foil? So you think about those non-food items, right, Sarah? There's nothing worse than baking and cooking and being like, oh crap, I don't have
parchment paper for under your cookies.
Mhm.
parchment paper. Yes,
I go to the dollar store for all of that stuff.
right. I mean, not everybody, and I go from the assumption that not everybody lives the way that I do. I always have. I mean, I was just in the cupboard downstairs before I came up here for work. That I was downstairs. I had extra cake from the cakes from Friday from our sister, and niece's party. So I always try to make Leo a little cake with the extra batter. So he has things during the week. And I had extra icing. So of course I pipe it on there. And then I had pumpkin sprinkles. So, he gets that because he lives in a house with that I happen to have. You open my cupboard and I have pastry tips and pastry bags and because I'm a baker, right? So
Right.
I don't go under the assumption that everybody rolls through. If you haven't opened your bag of flour since last Thanksgiving, yikes.
You might throw it away.
Right. And you're absolutely right. Like onion powder, like I cook constantly. So my onion powder, my garlic powder, my parsley, my, I don't know, like you said, paprika, my, what do you call it? Like ground nutmeg. It goes, it turns, but I'm not baking every day. I'm not baking bread every day. I'm not baking scones. I backed away from, and then the moisture from summer, people don't realize that if you don't store your sugar properly, it clumps. I mean, that's not as bad as
rock.
yeah, that's not as bad as say bad flour. You can come back.
I also, when I prepare for the holidays, I split my shopping up. Like I start shopping right after Halloween because I've done Halloween. I start buying stuff every week. I don't wait until the last Saturday before the holiday and purchase everything and
everything, right?
9 miles high.
And that's a good thumb. Like, let's say you were going to do your pie crust this week. That's the other thing too. Once you clear the decks, once you clear out your nuts, look through your spices, make your list. You have your binder. You know what you're doing. You know what Aunt Sally's doing. You know what Sarah's doing. You know what Holly's doing and Dad's doing and all that. So now you know what you're doing. You're going to make X amount of pies. You can do your crust now. So you could say, okay, I have night after work or I have Sunday where I can do it. Get your stuff out, do that. You want to rest your dough. I'm going to rest my dough. Then Sunday, I'm going to roll out my dough. Then I'm going to, prep my dough. I'm going to chill it the one night and then I'm going to bake it off. And then you can store that if you have room. Not everybody. And I also understand that people do not have, I have an upright freezer, an extra refrigerator. I have all that stuff. And I get that not everybody does that. Prep what you can when you can. So a little after work, a little on the weekends, like Holly said, go through your nuts, go through your spices, make your list, prep your pie crust, because you can't cook the turkey now.
I am buying my baking products this weekend. I already said that to Kevin. I know I need flour. I know I need sugar. I'm good for other things that I've already inventoried, but I'm going to get all that stuff on my grocery list this weekend so that that's done. So then the next time I go grocery shopping, I'll probably get the things that I have to bring along to the party. What is my responsibility that I have to bring?
Something that everybody needs to think about is that this is a different kind of year too. So maybe all of the things that you normally buy are not going to be as readily.
Well, you've already had those conversations with your family. Is it going to be a Zoom here, a Zoom Thanksgiving? Is it only going to be this amount of people? So you've already kind of had those. Hopefully by now you've had those conversations. Who's flying in? Who isn't? Who's ill? Who can't come due to health issues? Who's staying at college? Some kids are staying at their wherever they're staying put, so you kind of already know that ahead of time and then shop accordingly, shop your flyers, pay attention. If you shop in our region, we have Giant, Weiss, to pay attention to your points. Do you get a free ham or turkey? I guess they give it. I don't know if they give out a ham.
They're doing it again.
They're doing it again.
Amanda Parker's watching with us, and she just said she just added baking soda and baking powder and poultry seasoning to her list.
Very nice. Well, that makes me feel good that somebody's listening to what we have.
And I think outside the box too, because it's not just those staples. It might also be those one-off things that you don't necessarily think about having it, like poultry seasoning. Not everybody necessarily has that in their cupboard all year round.
Right.
So
I have to say, Bell's seasoning is my favorite poultry seasoning, and I think it's because my mother always used it, so it's been like part of our cupboard since I was a child, so that's a lot of years. But
that is a lot of years.
It's a very nice poultry seasoning.
So I mean, that might be something like if you only cook a turkey once a year, again, you want to sniff everything, give everything the sniff test. If you're not a good smeller, maybe say hair. Everybody loves when somebody does a hair smell. Does that smell bad to you? Maybe do
my
that
job usually. I get
your
smell
husband
things.
or your children in the house. I mean, and that's all part of the prep. Again, do not forget the plastic wrap. And another thing that I like to do too is, like you said, from the dollar store, and this is where the dollar store really comes into play for things like this, is because you might not have the refrigerator or the freezer space when people leave. prepare people to either bring their own if they don't feel comfortable. You could bring your own Tupperware or disposables, or I'll
Mhm.
provide disposables from the dollar store that are new, they're throwaway, and you guys can load up before you go. And then that way you're not stuck with everything. You're not consuming it. You're not stuck with it. You're not having to throw it out. And then everybody gets leftovers and it's kind of done in a nice economic way and everybody's happy. So that's another part of your prep list, your aluminum foil, your plastic wrap. If you don't have a meat thermometer, and let's say you're cooking a turkey for the first time, because usually you go somewhere.
Mhm.
And then you're like, crap, I got the free turkey. What do I do with it?
And it doesn't
now
have a popper. Yeah, I
thank
mean,
God we live in an age that we can go online and look at the
I
directions.
gotta say, Butterball has an amazing website with so many things about cooking a turkey for the first timer to they'll tell you exactly what absolutely not to do, like
And God please help us all. Please defrost that bird.
defrost the bird.
Oh
And
my
you know
God,
what?
that's the number one
if you're
thing.
getting a 20-pound turkey, it's gonna take 3.5 days to defrost.
Mhm.
It's
You
not
gotta
gonna
take the
defrost.
guts out of it.
That gosh darn turkey out of that air freezer.
Now, there
Oh,
are calculators. So on Butterball, there's calculators about how long it takes to defrost, how long it takes to cook.
there's not a mistake. You can't make a mistake now these days. Now, people, if you're on here watching this show, that means you have access to the internet and you can't do a bad turkey. You can get everything from how you have to defrost it, how long you're going to cook it,
Mhm.
what goes with what. Are you stuffing it? Are you not stuffing it? How long
And
you
how
have
to
cook
stuff
There's
it,
really no
because
excuse.
there's safe ways to stuff a turkey and there are unsafe ways to stuff a turkey. You do
Right.
not.
So you put it in the bird. So you tell us what you do. You
Well-
like to stuff that turkey. I want to hear all about that.
First and foremost, you got to take the bag of giblets out of it, and you got to take the neck out of it. And they have it stuffed in both turkeys.
Don't tell me that there aren't people that don't do that. Don't tell me there
don't-
must be.
I don't want to say any names, but one of my brother's ex-wives didn't know how to take the
Yeah, don't say names. We don't
So-
say names.
saying any names, but yes.
I
there
know
are-
who it is.
don't
I
do
know
that.
who it is, but I'm not going
Don't
to say.
put the bag of the parts inside the bird. That's
Yeah.
rule number one.
Gross. Absolutely.
Yeah,
gross.
absolutely gross.
They're heavier than they look. That's the other thing too. So if you get a really, really big turkey and it's frozen and you have like a freezer that's up here, be
Mhm.
very careful moving
Well,
around.
don't put the freaking
giant
turkey
turkey.
on the highest thing, especially if you're
Well,
a
if you
short
have
girl.
some people have freezers that are still up on the top of the fridge. Like
Oh,
mine's
that's
down on the
true.
bottom. So
Yeah,
you
but
know, if you
how
get it out,
high?
you know,
You have to be real short.
they're really a lot heavier than you think they are. Like, and if once you defrost it, they're very slippery. So
Oh,
you
but
gotta
before,
get-
that's a weapon. I mean, that's
You
really
gotta
a
get a good
frozen
grip on
turkey.
that
If you threw
sucker.
that at somebody, like
Yeah.
you
God.
really hurt some. You could really. I mean, they should make like turkey hockey. It's like it's like a great big. It's like what's that sport that they do where they push that thing across?
Curling.
Curling.
It's like it's like it is like
Sweeping. Turkey curling.
I always say that could be my sport because basically it's sweeping.
Hey Holly,
What do they
who's
call it?
watching us besides Amanda? Shout out to Amanda. Who's watching us tonight?
We had a lot on. Sandy said a lot of stuff. She actually loves to have
Sandy.
she wanted to know
Sandy.
where's the beef. I told her it was at Christmas time. You know, she has farm fresh beef on her farm. So
I
she's
get you.
asking.
Yeah.
But she does like to rub her turkey with butter, garlic, and lemon zest.
Nah, that sounds
Yeah.
good. I
Yeah,
put an
and-
orange in mine.
And mom's watching too.
Hi, Mom. How are you tonight?
She thinks
The-
that a lot of people who normally go out for the holidays and hit the restaurants are actually going to be cooking this year.
Right. So if you're not, you don't have to be a professional chef. You just have to stay organized. If you don't have all the equipment, don't go out and break the bank. Ask, borrow, beg, borrow, and steal, flip. Like, let's say Sarah has extra pie plates, but she needs from me my food processor. We can kind of, we're family and we live close. We can kind of work with each other if Holly needs something or
I
whatever.
do want to say something too. If you are not a person who likes to cook and bake, if it all makes you nervous and you usually went to families or you went out to a restaurant and you didn't do all this stuff, it is okay to order a prepackaged meal.
Absolutely. It is
And
okay. And there's
I
lots of
totally
places
okay.
out there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's lots of restaurants this year because they have been struggling who are doing full on to go dinner.
Yeah.
From soup to nuts. You get
There's
it
no
all.
rules. There's no rules. You don't even have to have a hot meal. You could have a cold meal. You could prep it. If you want to have a cold meal and kind of have a relaxing on that
I
day.
gotta say, the most depressing Thanksgiving I ever had was day I didn't have a hot meal. I know
Oh.
that's horrible to say, but I don't even remember why I was home
But what you
alone.
could do is, even if you still wanted to heat it up, you could cook the turkey. You don't have to cook the turkey the morning of Thanksgiving. So you could cook the turkey if you're home. You could cook it the day before. You could
Yeah, I
cook
had a
and prep
turkey
the
sandwich
day
that
before.
year. I remember that year I had I don't even remember what it was or why, but I think you were in you might have been flying.
We aren't going to talk about our most depressing
No,
Thanksgiving.
this had nothing to do with anybody. We were all just very, very busy and leading our lives. Nothing particular happened. It was just I missed having a hot meal with all the
Like I
stuff.
said, you can go ahead. Like my in-laws, they usually have 30, 40 people for Thanksgiving. So what she does is she gets 2 free turkeys from ShopRite because she does all of her shopping in one
Mhm.
store. So she'll cook a turkey. Let's say Thanksgiving is Thursday, Friday. We have it on Friday, which is Black Friday. So she'll cook a turkey Thursday morning and she cooks a turkey Friday morning. And then what she did, we slice them, we put them on a big platter, and then we heat it up.
Yeah.
So, do those little things. Like if you make the rolls a little bit before your company comes, you can always heat them up. Like there's just different, like you don't want to be in the kitchen hot and sweaty if you have company. That's the other thing you have to think about. If you have people like staying at your house, if you have people
Coming out in front
coming, you want to
yeah.
enjoy your company and you're like a hot mess in the kitchen. And the number one thing that I never did for a long time up until last year, where I had to actually force myself, it's like I'll get up, I'll have my coffee. I know what I have to do. I have my list taped to the cabinet, and I won't take a shower until 5 minutes before I have to be up at my mother's. So now I get up, take my shower, have my coffee. I get into cooking clothes or sloppy clothes. I don't do anything to myself. I have my outfit or whatever I'm going to wear, and I go to business. I do my cooking or my baking, and then I can put my face on, my hair, do my hair, get my outfit on, and I haven't messed anything up. I'm not hot and sweaty, but I've already kind of taken care of, so think about that too. If you're going, or if you have to allow yourself time to travel and packing that stuff.
Yes.
In the car.
And you really, that is a big thing about everything. Like allow yourself time to shop, it's
Prep.
crazy
Right.
shopping. The roads are going to be crazy. Allow yourself time to get from point A to point B. Like a big part about the holidays that we often screw up is that we're not thinking about ourselves very much. And we're not taking like the time to do the things that we have to do. And then it makes you all like agitated and like Aaliyah said, hot and sweaty, and you're not having a good time. Like the goal should be,
well,
no
especially
matter what you're
Thanksgiving, because
doing,
we don't have to do
it's
presents. Well, because for Thanksgiving, you don't have to do gifts. I mean, always, always, always. And, we've talked about this on our etiquette show. If you're going to somebody's house for Thanksgiving, bring them a hostess gift of some sort. I don't care if it's edible. I don't care if it's their favorite cookies, a bottle of wine, a candle, something. Bring them, bring them something. But other than that, you really don't have to buy gifts for this unless it just happens to come. So in our family, sometimes there's like birthdays. So it's kind of like it ends up kind of overlapping. But in most people's cases, that's not the case. So, the whole purpose of Thanksgiving is you're thankful, for the basics like food on the table, family, health, everybody's well-being and peace on earth, goodwill towards man, and all that kind of stuff for Thanksgiving. And you don't have to do that hustle and bustle. So the important thing is, number one, think of yourself. Two, if you're having it at your house, and when all else fails, throw some money at it, order food, order the pies, have a cleaning person come in.
And
you know what I mean? Or tell your family you're not coming. No, I'm just kidding. Have to be thankful.
No, around here you can order pies from a lot of the diners.
Right.
That great pies.
You can order pies from Perkins.
Yep. I know that the Cinder Inn is having whole turkey dinner. They're preparing.
Shout out to one of our shout out to her. Yeah.
Mimi, our mother, she said, "Do you remember the year I had to throw away the whole turkey?"
OMG, I do.
I think we called because I think at the time.
Well, there was no World Wide Web. I think it was the 80s.
Called the Butterball hotline.
We did. We called the Butterball hotline. It was a no.
I will never forget buying a turkey, and it was within its due date, of course. I opened it up Thanksgiving morning, and it was rotten. And
Ooh.
I so disgusted.
Yeah, that is
And of
disappointing
course,
because
here,
I didn't get it. I didn't get a rotten turkey, but there was one holiday that it was my job to bring like the little charcuterie, the meat and cheese and crackers. And I got
Mhm.
one of those beef sticks that was wrapped and you couldn't see it. And when I opened it up, it was rotten. Like there's nothing worse than getting
yeah,
to
there's
the
nothing worse
party.
than being disappointed. And back in the 80s and 90s and even in the early 2000s, there wouldn't be. You
you couldn't go to
couldn't
the grocery
run to,
store.
No.
and you're not going to get you're not going to go and get a turkey and then start at 10
And
o'clock.
that's another thing. That's
know.
another thing about this year. It is going to be very similar to the olden days. There are many, many, many retailers that are not going to be open this year on
So
Thanksgiving.
don't
right.
count on that.
So
Don't count on that.
running to Target. Don't
Yeah.
count on running to Walmart because they are closed this Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
also going to
exactly.
suggest that everybody, while they're out doing their shopping, they buy an extra pack of paper towels and an extra pack of toilet paper, because one of my friends works in a local grocery store and she said that it is starting to get limited again. So, just cover yourselves.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, and think about if you
I'm
are having
shopping for
company,
them all.
if you are having company and you don't have nice china or fancy china, or if you do and you don't want to use it, there's nothing wrong. There are so many beautiful alternatives to regular
like-
dishes.
I mean,
There are beautiful sets.
I will never forget because I went to BJ's and bought the stainless steel looking plastic silverware.
Yeah.
And my Nana was like in her late 80s and here at my house, and she got so beside herself upset because people were throwing my silverware away.
Yeah.
So, there's
they
stuff
have
out there
stuff
that
looks
it.
like they have wedding china type plastics
Mhm.
now.
Right.
So, if that's within your budget, you can always check that out on the Big A online, at the big store
It's-
online everybody shops at, or at Party City, or whatever those places. So if that's something that you want to do because you don't want to be riddled with dirty dishes, you don't want
Mhm.
people to break that china, or whatever the case may be. And some people, they just don't have that kind of stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that.
If I'm making stuff to take somewhere, like our mother hosts Thanksgiving, I host Christmas Eve, she hosts Christmas. So you're always either doing it or you're taking something. If I'm taking something somewhere, I always put it in a throwaway container.
Yes.
So that it doesn't cause that person to have more dishes to do.
Mhm.
And they can just store it however they want and chuck it away.
Right.
And there's nothing to take home. There's nothing to worry about. Like it takes away one layer of extra
of the things that you have to they have to clean up. Yeah. And I think that I really like the idea of bringing or providing, and I think my mom has gotten into this, is providing, the throwaway
Mhm.
aluminum trays and stuff like that you could take stuff home, because inevitably, I mean, she doesn't want to be stuck with all that stuff, you know what I mean? And most people don't want to be stuck with 10 days worth of turkey meals. Hello, puppy, I see you. You like Thanksgiving?
I have to say that I've gotten very good at storing things with Ziploc bags, with freezer bags.
Yes, you can kind of suck the air and store them flat.
And make
Turkey
it
breast,
flat.
right? Turkey
Yeah.
breast. Make sure you have if you are carving the turkey, make sure you have. We come from an electric knife family.
Mhm.
It's just something that we've always had. I have one. My mom had. We just Nana always had one.
Mhm.
I know. I use a regular.
Yeah.
Like,
Make
knife.
sure your knives are sharp. Make
Yep.
sure you have all those things that you need. We're gonna operate as if.
Mhm.
Right.
We're going to operate as if, and I want you guys, even if it's just you and you're getting a turkey breast or a hunk of turkey from the deli, I want you to sit down and have, wine or coffee or a nice drink or whatever it is that you do, fuzzy,
And a good
fizzy,
piece of
whatever.
pie.
A good piece of pie, and enjoy whatever. If you're working, I mean, there are people that are going to be working, and not necessarily in retail, but they're going to be working those days. Healthcare workers, shout out to you guys, doctors, nurses, and all that kind of stuff. Try, I don't care. I remember when I was a little girl, and my husband has these stories too. We had a truck stop here that was quite interesting, but they didn't know how to throw together a really good smorgasbord. It was a smorgasbord type place. And my grandfather used to like to go, I mean, it used to be that you could go to this truck stop and have a turkey dinner. I was thinking the other day about school, like when it would be like the day before Thanksgiving and you'd go to school, or like 2 days before, and they'd have like the turkey, 2 slices of turkey with some sort of gelatinous gravy. And then they'd put, I said to my husband the other day,
of potatoes.
it was an ice cream scoop in the shape, and it would be stuffing which I think was stuffing and then potatoes or whatever, but like, and then
Yeah.
like just the little half slice of cranberry sauce. Like those are the things like, but even though it was like heinous, it's still like,
Yeah.
You
remember
remember, but you know, for some people, that might have been the only Thanksgiving dinner
this
that
is true,
have.
or a truck stop dinner because they were working, or a cafeteria meal because they're a nurse or doctor and they're eating at the hospital. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whether it's a huge group of people or a small intimate thing, or you're just hanging out at home, just enjoy it. If you're Netflix and chilling with a whole pie, no judgment, whipped cream and the whole pie and a spoon and you, I don't care.
You
Just
and a
enjoy it. Be
pie.
thankful for that pie.
So
We're gonna-
are we gonna have rapid fire?
Well, you kind of okay. Jelly
Did
versus
we answer all the
okay. Jelly versus whole cranberry.
Jelly.
jelly?
Apple versus pumpkin pie.
Pumpkin.
Pumpkin.
Turkey. I'm sorry. Stuffing in, stuffing out of the bird.
Out.
We are divided on that.
I
people.
like the crusty. I like when it gets a little bit dried out and crusty.
Me
That is
too.
the best part of the stuffing.
Well,
Don't
I
find the turkey's just too moist.
well, but the what's hanging out is usually dry.
What? What do you mean hanging out?
Let's start with nothing.
What do you
gotta
mean
eat
by
something
what's hanging out? 'Cause I don't know if I want to eat something hanging out of a turkey's butt.
Well, you put it in the
Concept.
butt.
Oh, you don't put it in the butt?
No, I put
Oh,
it
I know. I guess you don't stuff the
Just
butt.
have it.
Yeah, you stuff the head.
Those
Yeah.
are where the neck used to be. But the thing is that I do know some people do cook the stuffing that way. Then they take it out and put it in a casserole and put it in the oven. I mean,
Right.
everybody does it a little bit of different. I have a question: stuffing with fruit in it or not?
No.
My
I mean, the
stuff,
sausage thing, even though I'm not a fan of it, I get that.
my
I
stuff,
understand the sausage part. And I know that there's people that make it with like apples and walnuts or raisins or something. Like, what are you making? Dessert? Like, I
mine
like
is
my
very,
dessert and my stuffing separate. you know.
mine is
What do you
very
like to,
simple.
Sarah, tell me, what do you like to eat with, what do you like to drink with that there turkey? Do you have a glass of wine? What's the wine that goes best with turkey? That's, I don't know. 'Cause I don't
White
drink
wine.
wine.
White
White
wine.
wine?
You'd have to a white wine and probably like a like a slightly sweet.
Okay.
A Riesling
Goes
would
with
be good
turkey.
with turkey.
I actually like cranberry juice
Mhm.
with turkey.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong.
Well, you know what's really
mean-
good? Like a non-alcoholic beverage. I mean, you can always put alcohol in it, whatever. But you could do like with a little bit of seltzer and make it like fizzy. It's like really
Mhm.
good. You can make it really pretty. You could put cranberries in it.
Cranberries in-
I'm making I made sangria for my anniversary. I'm gonna make a Christmas sangria
Yeah.
this year for our Christmas Eve party. So it'll be, I
We'll
usually-
definitely be
something sweet.
talking about that. I think what we'll do in the next coming weeks is we will definitely be back in the kitchen like we were for Halloween, which was fun. I think that
We'll
was
do
a
it
good.
for Thanksgiving and
And we'll do something like what you can do with the pills because not everybody is going to get your ice water out, roll out the dough,
Oh, yeah.
that's an art in itself. It takes a lot of time. If you haven't really practiced, I wouldn't recommend it, but there are some really cool, cute things that you can do with a store-bought pie crust, and I will show you things that you don't even have to have fancy cookie cutters for. You can use a knife, you can use a kitchen knife, and you can do some fun things, and people will think that you seriously got that pie from a bakery.
Yeah, you
And you
just
can-
spent $20 at the bakery.
Yeah.
Pie.
Because you know what, people still, and I think that this is really nice. I think it's really nice when people still have the inclination to do things that are homemade. You know what I
Oh,
mean? Like
I
when you
love
have it in your heart, like when you're in your heart, it's like this year I really want to do XYZ, and I think you should do it. I think you should execute it. Just don't do it the day of.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like
Don't do it that day.
in the spring I did some baking, which is not my thing, as everybody knows. But I did try some baking because I was at home, and I figured this fall I would perfect my apple crisp recipe. So I've made 2 so far. The second one was definitely better than the first. I'm hoping that the next one I make is going to be like I figured it out. I have a real hard time with the top because I don't have a pastry cutter.
Mhm.
Something I don't own, so I kind of improvise with
No,
them.
2 knives is all you. 2 knives is
Two
all you
knives
need.
is what
2
I need.
knives. That's the way Mom always did it when we were kids. You do.
And
2 knives,
actually-
don't
and
do
actually-
anything fancy.
I know the professionals like the butter to be really, really cold. I let the butter soften a little bit, and it
Mhm.
made a much crustier crust.
You don't need cold butter for a crumb. You need cold
Yeah.
butter for crust.
Well,
That
yeah.
is a definite
Oh,
pastry.
well, you
crust.
know me, I was actually referencing recipes because I have no idea what the heck I'm
Yeah.
doing. But the first two I tried did call for cold butter. I'm like, no, this time I'm not going to do cold butter. I'm going to let it chill. So you got to, if you're not into it and doing it all the time, I
Mhm.
do suggest making like a test run if you're
Definitely make a
if you're
test run.
nervous.
Mhm.
Yeah. Definitely. I
And
mean,
I
I
mean, hey,
think
you
that
just
it's a
have more
nice time.
apple crumble.
It is a nice time to put, like, we have definite things, and there's things that we did for years, dishes that we made for years that fell off the
Yeah.
radar because people's diets changed. They got their gallbladders removed. They got
Mhm.
celiac. They came down with the celiac or discovered
and
that they,
people just don't eat-
whatever.
I don't think people eat as much as we used to. I don't know why.
No,
I
we
feel that way,
definitely
but-
don't. Oh, we definitely, this family does not throw down the way that we used to.
Mhm.
And, but it's good though, because then you're not throwing stuff away. You're not bringing it home and eating it and being faced with it. People don't want to,
Right.
constantly be looking at leftovers and then overeating after the fact. People want sort of a respite between Thanksgiving and Christmas,
Mhm.
and this year is a little bit different because maybe we're not doing the office parties this year. We're
Mhm.
not doing as many get together, which makes me
Yeah,
sad because I really
my
like that.
office. My office canceled. We are not having our annual Christmas party. They did instead give us a half a day off. So, which I like because
they're a
it's
little
gonna
bit
be
different.
another half a day to get ready.
So
for
if you can take advantage of that family time, like when you're at home, like if you're only going to have you and your husband, or you and your partner, or your adult kids, like, just make the best of it. Just make the best of it. Like, and if you just do not want to do any of it, there are many lovely places to order it out.
I have one more very important question.
But
Gravy. How do we feel about gravy?
I do not
I
like
love
gravy at all. No. Mm-mm.
I don't
Love
like
gravy.
I don't. No. Mm-mm.
It's really funny because I make stuff for the boys here, and I get like pre-made. Gravy.
Oh, I make gravy from scratch. Like, I make
I'll do
Jeff want
that
to roast
too.
the turkey. I make it from scratch.
Yeah.
But
Well, I don't
no,
wanna
I don't
it
eat
either
it.
way. I don't want to eat it either way.
No, I don't eat it. I can make it from scratch. I can cook a turkey like nobody's business. I just don't. It's just not my favorite thing. I'd much rather have a roast chicken. So I take that recipe with the orange and the lemon and the cloves and the herbed butter, and I make a roast chicken with it. It turns out the same.
Yeah,
It turns out the same.
and you
But you
enjoy
know
it.
what? I try to cook things that he likes to have, and somebody gave us a turkey, so I ended up doing it. We have a turkey breast in the freezer, actually. Anyway, so I thought if they end up let's say they end up like really, which I don't know how they would be able to restrict, that much. But if it goes down, then I could cook the turkey breast for him the same way, with the aromatics. You know what I mean?
I actually buy turkey breasts, boneless turkey breasts, every few weeks,
Right.
and then I cook the turkey on a Sunday afternoon, and
Mhm.
that's dinner. But then it makes a couple
A
lunches.
couple meals. Yeah. I
Mhm.
mean, I think after I made that one turkey, he was having turkey soup, turkey
Yeah.
pot
And
pie.
you can get a boneless turkey breast for like $9.
Right.
And it's so easy to make. It doesn't take as much time as the stuff
Mm.
with the bones in it. And you can get that feel. Like if you really love turkey, or you have family that really
Yeah.
loves turkey, it's actually a very easy Sunday cook. Like it's
Yeah.
a couple hours in the oven. And those breasts, you
Mhm.
kind of like.
You cook turkey a lot, Sarah?
I do.
You do?
I love
Yeah. Yeah, we only do. Obviously we have it on 2 Thanksgivings, 2 days in a row, and then once in a while I'll have it for him. But we're big chicken people, I think, mostly. Yeah.
Chicken is
Yeah, me
easy,
too.
just
Well,
as easy as turkey.
I know.
Have whatever you want for Thanksgiving as long as you're thankful. We're thankful for you, and we'll be probably most likely in the kitchen again.
Mhm.
Let's see. How many more Tuesdays do we have till Thanksgiving?
I'm not quite sure, to be completely honest. Let me look here.
We had tonight. We have next
One.
week as well.
We have two.
We have
two.
2. Well, maybe we'll do in the kitchen for both, because maybe we could talk about
We can kind of break it up. We can
kind of break it up a little bit. But I'm
We can
definitely guys
talk,
going to show you what you can do with
maybe-
a store-bought crust. I can show you what you can do if you have kids. If you do have a couple kids, doing some things that you can do with them at the table, they're not going to break the bank, and some things that you can do. You might not want to do the nut dish this year with the nut cracking and all that kind of stuff, but we're going to have to come up with something else that you can do.
Well, and I do want to say that
Maybe some holiday hot nuts.
there's
Some
nothing
holiday hot
wrong-
nuts.
there's nothing wrong with coming up with some fun activities, because as some very tiny people told me on Halloween, they really enjoy the fun
Right. Now we got to come. Now that Holly made all these games on Halloween as alternative to
That's
trick or treating, which those little sneaky buggers, they ended up doing both. They had the games and they went trick or treating. So now for now for Thanksgiving, we're going to have to come up with some sort of
I have
turkey trot game.
I'm going to come up with a couple games for Thanksgiving for the little people.
So maybe you could share it with that. We'll talk about tablescapes and some pie.
I think we should have our egg hunt.
Because we never had it in the spring.
That's right.
Turkey eggs.
It's,
Turkey
well,
eggs.
you know, turkeys lay eggs. So technically.
They do lay eggs. They
Oh,
do.
well, I can't believe it, ladies, but we have used up all of our time and it is now 8:00. So it is time to say good night to everybody. We hope that you had fun with us. We always have a good time talking about all these different topics.
Well, this is an easy subject to talk about. This
well,
is fun.
we love our
This is-
holidays and
we
our
sure
family.
do.
That is for sure. Nobody's going to say that we don't, like, you know, go
That
full
we're
out. You
At
know.
a party.
We like to party. We like a good party. So we hope to share all those good party things with you. So yeah, so the next 2 Tuesday nights, we're going to be in the kitchen and dining room and making things pretty and yummy and have a really good time leading up to Thanksgiving. So everybody, we hope that you have a very safe week. We want to thank our sponsors, brokersrealty.com, for bringing to us to you every week. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do this fun thing on TV. We want to tell you that we are going to give away a something to say mug to one of our
Show that again, Sarah. Show them what they're
wants the
getting.
mug.
Pick up the mug. Woo!
One of
Look
our
at that.
Mentors tonight will get one. So make sure to like and post on the video. And if you're watching it tomorrow, give us a little replay and let us know. So everybody have a great night. Stay safe and we'll see you next week.